Most first-time homebuyers in Jacksonville show up to closing shocked. They saved for the down payment, they got pre-approved, and they thought they had everything covered. And then they see the number at the bottom of the page they weren't expecting. Today, I'm walking you through exactly what buyer closing costs look like in Northeast Florida, every major bucket, what's actually in it, and what you can do if you want to reduce it before you ever get to the closing table. I'm Stephanie Thompson, a real estate advisor here in Northeast Florida, and I walk buyers through this every single week. By the end of this video, you'll know where your money is going at closing, what you can sometimes negotiate, and how to walk into closing day without any surprises. So, let's start with the overall number, because I think that's where most people need to recalibrate their expectations. In Northeast Florida, buyers typically are looking at somewhere between 2% and 3% of the purchase price in closing costs, not including the down payment. Jacksonville's median home price right now is sitting right around $305,000. So you're looking somewhere in the range of $8,000 to $10,000 just for closing. And yes, that's on top of whatever you're putting down. The reason I want to say that number out loud is because people hear closing costs and they think it's a small thing, like a couple $100 in paperwork. It's not. This is a real significant chunk of cash that needs to be liquid in your bank account before you can close. So if you're saving right now, closing costs go into the budget alongside your down payment, not after it. Now, this next part is what catches people most off guard. What that number is actually made up of, and there are 4 buckets. The first is your lender fees. That's the origination fee, the underwriting fee, and the appraisal. On a purchase loan here in Florida, that bundle usually runs somewhere between $1,500 and $4,000, depending on your loan type and lender. The second category is title and escrow. The title company charges for the title search, for handling the closing itself, and for issuing title insurance policies that protect you and your lender. The title side of things can run between $1,500 and $2,500, depending on the purchase price and title company. And here's where it gets interesting. Florida has 2 state taxes built into buyer closing costs that a lot of people don't know exist until they see the closing disclosure for the first time. The first is the documentary stamp tax. Florida charges 70 cents on every $100 of the purchase price. On a $305,000 home, that's over $2,000. The second is intangible tax, which is charged on the mortgage itself at 35 cents per $100 of the loan amount. So if you're financing around $244,000 after putting 20% down, that's another roughly $850. And these are not negotiable. They're state fees. They are due at closing, and they are part of the reason the closing cost estimate on a Florida purchase is higher than buyers moving here from some other states expect. And then the fourth bucket is prepaids. And this one generates the most questions. Prepaids are not fees you lose. They're items you pay in advance. Your first year of homeowner's insurance, any prepaid interest from your closing date to the end of that month, and your initial escrow deposit for property taxes and insurance going forward. In Florida, because homeowner's insurance is genuinely expensive right now, prepaids can easily add $3,000 to $5,000 to your total. But again, that money is going into your escrow account and gets applied when those bills come due. You're not throwing it away. And this is one that nobody tells you about early enough. If you're a first-time homebuyer in Jacksonville, there is a program called H2H, Head Start to Homeownership, through the city of Jacksonville. Qualified buyers can receive up to $50,000 in down payment and closing cost assistance. It's structured as a zero-interest secondary mortgage with no monthly payments required. That can cover the bulk of your closing costs entirely. Income limits and purchase price limits apply, and it takes time to process. So you want to bring this up at the very start of your home search, not the week before closing. The other thing worth knowing is seller concessions. Depending on market conditions, you can sometimes negotiate for the seller to cover a portion of your closing costs as part of the offer. Jacksonville's market right now is pretty balanced. The homes are sitting around 45 to 60 days on average, which means there's real room to have that conversation. Not every seller will go for it, but this is absolutely worth asking. So here's what I want you to take away. Budget 2% to the end of your purchase price for closing costs, on top of your down payment. Expect Florida's documentary stamp tax and intangible tax to be there. They are unavoidable and they add up. And if you're buying for the first time in Jacksonville, ask about H and bring up seller concessions early. If you want to know exactly what your numbers look like for your specific situation, I'd love to walk you through it. You can schedule a call directly through the link in the description or just reach out and text me. I'm Stephanie Thompson in Northeast Florida, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.